In the quiet dunes, where wind shapes the sand and the sea breathes against the shore, it is easy to believe that nature still exists in a world untouched. But even here, in one of the most pristine landscapes, something else moved, invisible to the eye, moved by wind, water, and time. Microplastic. And this is Charlotte, a toxicity mender. Someone who traces the silent paths of pollution that flow through our lives. Toxicity menders are people like you and me, dedicated to researching, countering, mitigating, or mending chemical harm. We will follow her in her daily life, trying to grasp these tiny particles. So, shall we get into it? This story begins at home, place of comfort, warmth, and routine. But even here, in the safe haven we cherish, microplastics settle in silence.
Hey, I'm home.
Oh, hey! I was just making coffee. Would you like some?
Yeah, that would be great, thanks.
Microplastics. Tiny polymer particles smaller than 5 millimeters, which come from worn fabrics, broken packaging, degraded plastics, and the heat of everyday use, even from a single coffee cup. The third largest source of microplastics in the Netherlands is our clothing. But with every wash, synthetic fibers break into microscopic particles. Next comes the packaging industry. Nearly everything we eat, drink, or store arrives wrapped in plastic. When this packaging wears, it fragments into microplastics that spread far beyond where they were used first. Inside our homes, microplastics are everywhere. But what happens when we step outside? As we leave the comfort of our living room, we move toward a place where pollution gathers and grows, the city. What do we truly know, and what remains hidden? When uncovering the unknowns of microplastics, the prizes come at hand. Could you guess the world's largest source of microplastics? Car tires. They release clouds of plastic particles every time they touch the road. These fragments drift through the air, settle in water, and spread far beyond the places we expect. We've entered the city now, a landscape where many forms of pollution thrive. But how do microplastics behave here? What happens to them in this dense, urban world? Meet Leander. To understand how microplastics affect our daily lives, we turn to someone living with these concerns every day.
And I started realizing how much it impacts our daily life and how it's absolutely everywhere and how much we don't actually know about it. So then I started researching more on my own. The fact that there is so little research on it, but also the fact that it's everywhere. You cannot escape it. We don't know if you can remove it from our bodies. It's in our food, in our water, in our clothing. It's unavoidable, basically. It's kind of terrifying, actually, if you think about it too long, because it's literally in the air we are breathing right now. If you drink water from the tap, it's in there. If you drink bottled water, it's in there. If you buy literally biologically grown vegetables, it's still in there. It's in the soil, and we're doing basically nothing about it, which doesn't feel right.
No, it doesn't feel right indeed. Microplastics are all around us, woven into our everyday life through our reliance on plastic. But the big problem is, they do not break down, they remain forever. Research into microplastics has accelerated rapidly in recent decades, and the findings are becoming increasingly alarming, revealing effects on the human body, on ecosystems, and far beyond. After hearing the concerns of everyday exposure, we turn to someone who can explain why effective policy is still missing.
My name is Silke Jonk. I work for the municipality of Amsterdam. We mainly focus on macroplastics because we focus on cleaning the waters. And there it's mainly focused on what we can actually see. So we're actually working a lot on cleaning the waters and taking the plastics out. Apart from that, microplastic, I don't think we do that much. So why we don't clean the microplastics is because we don't know what the problems are. The biggest obstacles to start effective policy is both the knowledge gap that we have. We don't know as much about microplastics and also not about their effects on health, environmental hazards, but also consumer behavior. I think we're so used to using plastics. It will take a lot of cultural and behavioral change to actually overcome the use of plastics and then in the end the production of plastics, because that's where microplastics effectively come from.
That's a lot to take in, so let's recap. Our research has shown that people encounter microplastics every single day. Their long-term and cumulative effects are still unknown, and that most research doesn't connect people's concerns to the political and socio-economical realities that limit how we reduce harm. You can sense the urge to run, but there's no running from it. It is everywhere. At the VULab, we spoke with Professor Maya Lamoureux, one of the leading microplastic researchers, to understand how microplastics enter our body.
I really don't know,
Okay.
actually. I even don't know where the larger microplastic particles that we measure in blood, where they end up. These particles might end up in organs. Yeah. And maybe it is the case that the smaller ones, that they keep circulating and they will be excreted somehow.
Yeah.
We don't know it yet. I think the most urgent issue that's still sort of unresolved is the reliability of the measurements, the accuracy. To build more capacity, that's difficult.
But looking ahead, where should our focus be? Of course.
In the material design, for sure. One of the problems I think in the polymer world is that they designed a product that was fantastic. It was just the best, and it was so good and so durable, and it was so you could do everything with it, and then they forgot to innovate. It's a pity. The first product was too good, and no one thought about replacing it by something else. And now we start with that, but now the oil sheiks in the Middle East all want to push their oil into a product.
The issue is wicked by nature, a complex web of human behavior and political power. Researchers like Maya are doing vital work. But action demands strict regulation, and regulation depends on evidence we are still gathering. So where does that leave us now? Is there really nothing we can do? We've returned to where the story began, back to nature. What can we say? After months of research, we know this can feel like a heavy story. The stakes are high, and the solutions, they aren't immediately within reach. As the body of scientific knowledge grows, it becomes just as important to understand the concerns of the people living with this issue every day. This understanding is what drives the cultural shift we need. A shift away from mass plastic consumption. Throughout this project, we created an atlas, a visual exploration of the concerns and dimensions of microplastic. This atlas is dedicated to all the toxicity managers out there, each contributing in their own way. We may not see the full solution yet, but we are getting closer. Change does not begin by forcing it, but by creating the conditions of possibilities.